Welcome, everyone. It's good to have you here. I see you, Anna. I see you, Tokbe. Welcome, welcome. I see you, Rashida. Welcome, guys. Welcome. It is so good to have you here. I am so happy to have you here. So if you're live, just say hello. Say something in the comments. Let me know you're here. Just say hi. Say hi to Bankole. And then once you have your questions, he would also be here to take them, okay? I'll read them to him and he will take them. But we just shared this in the Facebook group, and I'm sure that tonight we are going to be blown off. Okay, so let's move quickly into this. I'd like to introduce to you our guest. Yes, already you know his name. His name is Bankole Williams. Okay, and there's so many hats that he wears. Okay, but for me, he has worn so many hats, and he wears many hats in my life, from being my mentor, no, from being my role model that was afar. He became a mentor, he got closer. Then he became a coach to me. He got really close. Then he became a boss at a point, working with him. And again, he became a client, actually, as he hired me to work for him. I'm like, well, you're good. Then again, to work with him. Yes. And today, I call him my coach. I call him my friend. I call him my brother. And he's just one of the, I would say, 10 or 5 amazing human beings I know. Okay. So welcome, Banky. It's good to have you here. You need to unmute yourself for us to see you. And then so that fantastic.
Hi, Temi. So lovely to be here. Thank you for having me. You're looking amazing.
So are you? You're looking all fresh and fresh. I want these flowers. I'll just put it right here or right here behind me. I want this. Is it live or is it artificial?
It's not live. Though it
Okay.
looks like it is, but it's not.
Yeah. Because I'm like, how do I carry it out to sun? Then water it. I'm like, me, I need watering in my life. I would like know how to water a plant, but it looks so good. But I think our
You.
blinds look the same, so we have that in common.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
nice. All right. Okay, then. So welcome to this session. Welcome. So it's going to be a very short one, sharp for us to move straight into the addition. Now we have you here because I want you to introduce yourself as you answer this question. Okay, and the question is, you talk a lot, like you've been making so much let's say lay emphasis and making so much it's not noise, but it just needs awareness. Yeah, you've been raising awareness, about the mindset, about achieving outstanding results, and I hear the passion. It's just like I can touch my passion when I'm talking about how people can make money, with their passion, with their talents and their gifts. And that's the same level of energy, or even, I think, even higher, that you talk about how our minds influence our outcomes, And I've learned this from you personally, but a lot of people still don't know or have an idea. So what's with Bankole and outstanding results? Like, how? Talk to us about that.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me. Wonderful work that you're doing. So I think that it is imperative and critical and important that people recognize that they are created for a purpose. Nothing was created without an assignment given to it, right? Even down to bacteria that we think is harmful. There is a reason that they were created. There is an assignment in the ecosystem of humanity that they play. And I do believe that it is critical and it is important that everybody is curious enough to find out what that primary reason or assignment for which they are created is. We go through life, trying out different things, trial and error, attempting certain things to know what pulls us. But there comes a point in time when you hit gold. There comes a point in time when you find yourself doing something and you literally feel like a fish in water. You feel like this is my natural habitat and this is primarily, predominantly what it is that I'm created and wired to do. And I know that that is primarily what has happened to me. I have danced around different things, tried, different concepts, just tried to see what pulled me. I always like to say something, expose yourself to as many things as possible, and then the strongest thing would pull you. Any matter on the mind is definitely the strongest thing, and it pulls me every single time. Right. I am fascinated by books on the mind. I was checking my library not too long ago, and I found out 70% of the books that I had bought, consciously or unconsciously, even the ones I had attracted, were on the mind or ancient wisdom and stuff like that. Those are indicators as to things that it is that, or things that I am created and wired to do. So I've been on an interesting journey of discovery, and I believe that the reason why my primary message is on the mind and how it influences the kinds of results that we produce is primarily because I have found my place as a fish in water. I have found the thing that resonates authentically with me. My biggest frustration is with human potential. When I see that you have the capacity to do much more, but you're living way below your potential. And I know that the only way to harness that potential is by you maximizing the capacity of these assets that God has given you, right? So that is it in summary. I've had a number of experiences, personal encounters that affirm to me that this is my message. I'll tell you one true story. One time I was in church and I heard it so clearly in my heart. It was almost as though, God was having a conversation directly with me. And I heard, Bankole, this day I have set you over nations and kingdoms to root out, to pull down, to destroy, to plant, and to build. And immediately I heard it, I knew it had to do with patterns of the mind, to root out, mindsets that have held people bound, right? To uproot them so that I can plant new empowering mindsets that would help them, become successful in this life, right? So aside from, I believe that you can discover your purpose by two things. One, or maybe three things, by speaking to the manufacturer, right? You want to know how something functions, the manufacturer knows it best, right? God is our manufacturer, and God from time to time, speaks to us. And that was one of those moments when God spoke to me, and I knew that that was my assignment on earth. Another way to know your purpose is by design. You can study the design of a thing to understand how it functions, right? You see the bird and you see the wing. From the design, you can tell it's created to fly. You see the fishes and you see, their shape, you see their fins and things like that. You can tell from their design, they're created to swim, right? So by studying my own design being, hey, the things I'm drawn towards, the things that I don't gravitate towards, the things I'm frustrated by, the things I'm fascinated by, I can tell that, I'm created to speak about the mind. So these are, in summary, the experiences that just make me know that, this is my message. I'm called for such a time as this. I am convinced beyond every reasonable doubt that this is my moment. Convinced that my message is key, is primary. I'm created for this season because my message is definitely going to be the access to opportunities for people out there.
Fantastic. That is just enough. Thank you so much for sharing this. Thank you for letting us know how both of, that what you're doing now connects with who you are. That gives it, a lot more relatability. that this is not just something you are teaching as an expert with head knowledge, but there is also a heart knowledge involved. So there is a you right in the mix. And that makes it a lot more relatable. And I dare say you are about the only coach I know to be so relatable, who is not afraid to share examples of themselves and or with themselves involved, and you're able to really teach and connect with all of us. So thank you so much. I see you, Margaret Amu. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the live stream. So now I want you to show us. So I have about 3 questions for you. Okay, taking the first one. And the second one now is no. The first one wasn't the question, but the first question now is, so the whole idea of creating outstanding results. I want you to tell us, what does it mean? Like, if you can paint a picture, for our minds, let's understand what it is we can create. Thank you.
Yeah. So what I find a number of times is that people have the desire for astounding results, but they don't have the science. They don't have the replicable know-how as to creating those kinds of results. We want it, but we don't know how to get it. Ask anybody today, do you want to be a billionaire? They will shout amen. Ask them or say a prayer, this year will be your year to hammer. They will shout a loud amen. So that affirms to you that there is that strong desire for incredible, astronomical, astounding type results. But the question is that really the manifestation in their lives? Do they have those kinds of results as tangible realities in their lives? The answer is no. So that for me has been a frustration, that there is a massive disconnect between people's desires and their reality. And until people understand primarily what it is that they're doing that is getting in the way of the actualization of those results, they will struggle. And this is why I do believe that there is an increased amount of frustration, particularly in our society, because your heart is yearning for something, but you are out of resonance. Your heart yearns for something, but your life is not resonating at the frequency of your desires. So it affirms to me, and once that happens, you are out of alignment. Once you're out of alignment, the emotion that is a default reaction of being out of alignment is frustration. And some people who are listening to me know what it is that I'm talking about. Particularly with 2020, a lot of people have not experienced the kinds of frustration that they experienced with the year that we just came out of, right? And I am someone who is very practical. So I love to encourage people, inspire them and everything. But I am bigger on giving people practicable insights that you can begin to apply from today that will move you from where you are to where you desire to get to, right? So for me, it's really about the science. It's not just about the astounding results. It's about the science, the step-by-step guide to producing these results. And I'll just touch on a few things I do believe are obstacles or hindrances to people experiencing this. Right, I often would ask a question like, so for instance, I always give this analogy of a plank, right? A plank that's on 2 stools, right? And on one end of the plank, right, is, let's say, 50 million naira. And I ask you to walk on that plank so that you'll get 50 million naira. You wouldn't think twice about it. See, to walk on this plank. What are you talking about? I'll walk it now. And you work on the plan, and of course you do it. 50 million, I'll do it. And then I take that same plank and I take it to a skyscraper, maybe the height of the Burj Khalifa, right? And then I place that plank.
Why?
Wait now, wait, let me finish. Wait now, Shebi, you want money. I place one end on the Burj Khalifa, and maybe there's another skyscraper beside it. I place the other end, and the 50 million is on the other end. Temi, please tell me.
What are you looking for? I just where it is easy to pick up. What's that?
But this is the reality. So let me ask you a question. Do you still desire the 50 million?
Of course, now I do.
Of course you desire it. But will you behave yourself in the way that will ensure that you get that 50 million now that it's on top of a skyscraper?
I will have to think about it.
The point is, you wouldn't do it. And I'll tell you why, right? The reason is because now that you are high up there, right, your imagination, what you are thinking about the process of getting the money is different from what you would have been thinking when it was on the ground. So in spite of the fact that you have that desire, your imagination is in contradiction to your desires. And whenever desire and imagination are in contention, imagination always wins the contest. So you desire the money.
Please read that. Let us write.
Whenever desire and imagination are in contention, imagination wins the contest. So you can desire all the money you want, but if your imagination or your unconscious thoughts concerning what you desire is not in alignment with your desire, you will always default in the direction of your imagination. And most people do not realize the context and the content of their imagination. They think that they are thinking the right things, but they fail to realize that in their passing moments, when they are wandering in thoughts, their thoughts are contrary to their desires, right? They worry over what it is that they want. And I am telling you that the content of your imagination will paralyze you. It will ensure that you behave yourself into your past. It will ensure that you embrace self-sabotaging behavioral patterns that will land you in your previous destination. And then people will experience frustration and wonder why they are working so hard and not producing the results. The problem is the lack of awareness of the content of their imagination. They think that they are thinking thoughts in alignment with their desires, but they fail to realize that over 95% of the time, they are not even aware of the content of their thoughts.
Whoa.
Yeah. So the average mind thinks 60,000 thoughts a day. The average mind thinks 60,000 thoughts a day. Temi, can you remember 100 thoughts you had yesterday?
Ask me about 5.
So I'm trying to say that amongst the 60,000 thoughts, we have thought paralyzing thoughts that are contrary to our desires, and we are unaware because we have not practiced a habit of consciousness where we are paying attention to our passing thoughts and the direction in which they are leading us. You know, I think it was Carl Jung that said, until we make the unconscious conscious, it will direct our lives and we will call it fate. So most people's lives are being directed by unconscious thinking. And because they have not brought it to a place of consciousness, it is leading them to a defined destiny and destination. And guess what? Because they are unaware, they are landing in a destination, and it is a contradiction from their intentions, you know, and ultimately that leads to frustration. So my job is to help people discover the root cause The real reason, we think we know it, but a lot of time our estimation of what the problem is actually a fallacy, right? So my job is to help people identify the real reason why you are struggling, the root cause of the problem. Remember what I said when I had that experience where God told Bankole over nations and kingdoms to root out. So my job is to help you identify the roots and take out that particular mindset or that in your thinking that's responsible for your outcomes, so that you can plant it, and seeds will not be picked by the weeds that already exist in your mind, right? So that's really what this whole thing is about, and it is a fail-proof approach, meaning that it is bound to produce results if you go about the process the way that I enlighten and educate people about it.
Okay. So the things you're saying, they're not common things we hear, or at least in this part of the world, right? They're not usual, they are not familiar. So I'm sure a lot of people like myself will be thinking, this whole stuff is like, there's this thing, it's not voodoo, and it's not you know, it's just, once it's beyond natural, you begin to get wary that, okay, I hope you're not trying to pull me into some occult stuff here, like, really, because it's not normal. It's not one of the things that we hear. It's not 7 steps to this, 7 strategies to this, it's a bit, it's taking a lot. It's asking a lot from us. You agree with me? So from your message, I've been able to deduce that outstanding results are basically the things I want to achieve. They are my desires, right? Like they're the things I want out of life. However, there is a science that controls my mind, or there's a science of how my mind works to be able to achieve those desires, right? So if people are like me a little, they could be a little just needing you to go deeper in explaining the whole process of how the imagination can win the war against desire, or the contest against desire, and things we can do, like I can do today, I can do tomorrow, to really make those things, happen for me faster, the way I would want them to happen. I mean, it's January.
Yeah.
Lots of us we've set goals, right? Those goals are on paper, and I'm like, this year I want to have 400 students in my next class of workshop by March. Now you are telling me that there is more to be done in my mind than in my body. Please help me. Help us.
Okay,
Break it down.
so I'll break it down. I'll break it down in very simple terms. Now, you must understand that we have 2 minds, right? It even says in scripture, a double-minded mind is unstable in his ways, meaning that when your 2 minds are not coherent, or when they are not in agreement, you would experience instability. And when you experience instability, right, you cannot produce your desires, you cannot produce your results. You're neither here nor there, right? And I think that is the problem. The problem is that our 2 minds are not in agreement, they're not in alignment. Now, until there is that perfect alignment between the conscious and subconscious mind, we cannot produce our outcomes. Now, what I find is that there is so much conversation about the conscious mind. There is so much understanding about the conscious mind. There is very little conversation about the unconscious mind. So I'll explain it, whether it's using science, using spirituality, I can explain it and break it down so people get it, right? It says, for instance, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he, right? It doesn't say as a man thinks in his head, it says as a man thinks in his heart. So there is the head component and there's the heart component. And when the head and the heart are in alignment, we can produce results. So it is a fusion.
Okay, hold it. I would think, geez, it never hit me that way before. You would think that you are thinking with your head.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So it should be a man thinking his head.
Yes. Yeah.
But it is his heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa, that never, ever
occurred to you, right?
like
right. Please affirm to me. I hope my network is good. It's not breaking on your end.
No, it's been okay so far.
Okay, it's good. It's good. Okay, yeah. So it's as a man thinks in his heart, not in his head, right? So let me ask you some very practical questions that would help. Temi, I don't know, maybe back then, have you ever been heartbroken before? Somebody broke your heart in one way or the other, right? Back in the day. When you,
I was.
Now
I met my
that feeling that you were feeling when it happened, where did you feel it?
I would say all over my body, but majorly in my heart. Like
your heart. Now what I'm trying to get somewhere with this, right?
Okay.
When we are experiencing an emotional pain, we experience it in our heart. The heart is the seat of your emotions. The head is the seat of your intention. So it's not as a man thinks in his head, it's as a man thinks in his heart. So what I find is people have intention, but they don't have the matching emotions for their intention. And because there is the lack of the matching emotions, they cannot produce their desired outcomes. And this is why people set goals and they don't get their goals. They start the year with that initial motivation and ginger and all of that. And somewhere along the way, right, something happens and they lose motivation and they're back to where they started. They had the intention, but they did not have the matching emotion in a sustainable form that could carry them to the desired destination, right? And I think that this is so critical. This is the missing link. So the conscious mind understands logic, it understands reason. If it makes logical sense, you can communicate to this part of your brain. But guess what? This part of your mind is only 5% of you. So imagine speaking a language to just 5% of you and not speaking the language of 95% of you, right? So imagine speaking English to somebody that understands French. That is the missing link. We're speaking logic, we're speaking reason. But that part of the brain does not get that message. It doesn't get it, right? So until we begin to speak the language of the unconscious mind, we will not get it to move. What is the language of the unconscious mind? Images and emotions, right? That is the language of that part of the brain. So until your goals are communicated in a visual way that triggers the emotional component attached with the actualization of that outcome, it is not going to get it. It's not. That is the missing link. And here's the interesting thing, that there is practically no difference between your unconscious mind and your body. There is no gap. So once your unconscious mind gets it, your body will act it out. So the problem So this is the reason why people experience frustration. They experience frustration because they have an intention which they communicate with their conscious mind. They don't communicate it with their unconscious mind. The unconscious mind still has the program of the past, which is anti their desires. So because the unconscious mind still has the program of the past, the unconscious mind is close to the body and there is no difference, there's no separation. So the body, by virtue of the programming of the unconscious mind, has has defaulted to taking you back to the past, in as much as you have desires to move forward. So until you change that program by speaking the language it understands, no matter how hard you try to move forward, your body will take you backwards, because that is the conditioning it has, right? I'll give you an example. Temi, have you ever caught yourself singing a song that you didn't even learn the lyrics, you didn't even intend to sing it, but you caught yourself singing it? Does that happen to you?
Like this morning.
It
Yeah.
happened this morning.
Yeah.
So you were like, I didn't even learn the lyrics and I just caught myself singing it.
Yeah. Like, how did I get that song in my head? Like,
In your head.
They don't like the guy. How am I singing his song? It happened this morning as I was coming down the stairs. Yes.
Beautiful. So can you see what I'm saying? Your body produced an outcome without your permission. Ooh, I hope somebody gets this thing. I said your body.
Sorry, repeat that.
Your body produced an outcome without your permission.
Yeah.
Could this be why some people are producing poverty without their permission? Because their bodies, right, are defaulting to producing certain kinds of outcomes, in as much as they consciously have a different desire, because unconsciously they have been programmed. The unconscious mind and the body are not in separation. They will produce what they have been conditioned with.
Banky, please, I want to start crying. Because are you saying that even though my conscious mind wants to make $1 million,
if your unconscious mind does not get it, forget it. I'm telling you.
No. And when the devil's work. Okay, I have 2 more questions for you, and let's see what we get in the comments. 2 more questions. I will call this a night. The first question is this. I mean, the next one now here. Can you share with us practically 1, 2, 3 things that we can do? Now, if some of you have heard me talk about my coach giving me a task on how to visualize and all of that, Bankole is that coach who has been helping my mind to, to think and to, focus and all of that. I remember 2019, I was in London. I just called Banky, we need to talk. We must talk. We need to talk. And I narrated how I think, the book is upstairs. I had 19 things I was doing. And Banky said, there is no way on earth you would ever be productive doing all of this. How many can you cancel? That night, I canceled 11. And I had like 8. Even those 8 were still so much. And then later on, because I'm a workaholic, I don't know how not to do things, how not to act, how not to execute. I piled on more again on myself later on. I was like, okay, you know what? I need to have this constant touch, and accountability. And that's like, one of the things that I teach now. But Banky tell us very practically, like, as we're living this live stream tonight, teach us, help our destiny.
Yeah.
What are the 2, 3 things we can do practically to train and tame this conscious mind with our desire so we can hit the numbers?
Yeah. I get you. So the first thing, there are quite a number of things, but I'll try to see how I can communicate them. The first thing is producing from a place of rest and not from a place of stress. And I find that in this country, a lot of us are conditioned to produce from stress. So there's that need for activity. There's that need for action and hard work. You understand? And overdoing it. I need to find this thing. I saw it in the Bible. I think it's Proverbs 23 or something. and it says that, do not overwork to be rich. The Bible.
Let me find it.
23:4. I've seen it. It says,
Wow.
do not overwork to be rich. I see that thing a lot, Temi, where we are grinding and we are stressing and we're toiling and we're working and hard. See, let me tell you.
Now, hustle.
I know, but there are two concepts here. There's what I call money drive and money vibe, and it's the fusion of the two.
I learned that from you. Money drive and money vibes.
Most people have the drive, but they lack the vibe, right? So there is so much of drive, but they are doing it from the emotions of stress. And I'm telling you that when you are producing from the emotions of stress, you cannot experience abundance, right? The emotion of stress is a survival emotion. Survival and growth cannot happen simultaneously. They don't work. They don't work hand in hand.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah. So the first thing is to get to a place in your heart where you are at peace or at rest. Now the question is, how do you get to that point? And I think that this is so critical, because when you produce from stress, you will implement the wrong ideas, invest a lot of resources, money, time, energy, and you will discover that you have wasted your resources. Something, some way will happen, something will go wrong, your vibe will be wrong. Your customers will hear what you are saying, it makes sense in their heads, but in their hearts, they just feel like there's something wrong and they're disconnecting, they're not feeling what it is you're saying, and they're not going to pay for it. And I know it happens to a lot of people.
Banky,
right? They have to
please just hold it. This happened to me practically in September 2020.
Yep.
I held this masterclass on the 20th of September. I'm sure it was a weekend or something. And I had the class. I've spent over 500,000 naira on the ads. I had a class full of people, and I was expecting a minimum of 40 conversions. So we did a worst case scenario of 10%, or I think of 1% or so, yeah, and then a good of a fair conversion of 3%, 120 people. We did not get 4 people on the program.
Wow.
The 2 we got, one was my mentor's younger brother. The other one had been following me for a long time. All the money we spent on advertising, nothing happened.
Wow.
And I'm like, what?
Wow.
As though that wasn't enough, I said, okay, we had a second webinar on the 27th of September, right? So the first one, the offer was originally, when I first launched the program, was going for 170,000. So that time in September, I chose to lower the price to 120K. I cut off 50K from it. Even though dollar rates had risen, I still chose to bring it down. And we had about 4 people on the program, or 3 people on the program. Now, the 27th September edition was a 15,000 naira offer. Like, this one, worst case, they go buy this one. I had spent close to 1 million naira on advertising for that one. So the goal was that at all, we would break even. We had about 7,000 signups for the webinar. Everything was, the whole energy, paid this, paid that. Bankole asked me how many signups we got that September for that particular offer.
How many?
Can you give a crazy, ridiculous guess?
50.
Not one.
What?
I tell you the truth. I tell you the truth. Not one.
Wow.
27th, 28th, 29th, 30th came. We closed cards with no single. Nobody was even asking for a payment plan. And they were all thanking me for a free. This is me. You know me as sales now. In that position of
Yeah.
sales, you know
Yeah.
me. You
Yeah.
know. Not one person joined. I fell legitimately into depression for the first time in my life. I
Wow.
had to go off work. I had to travel out of home to my parents-in-law's house to just go and be sleeping and be looking at the farm. Like, no, my life. I had to
Wow.
now start looking at what happened to me. It happened that I was under this compulsion to produce some money in August. So August ending came, it didn't really happen so well. So I promised these people that it will happen in September. So I was trying to produce under stress. I was just striving and hustling. I was putting money, I was running ads. In fact, if I had just taken that money for ads and paid them, would have been okay. Than to run that ads with the hope that it would come and nothing came. As at the end of that September 30th, on the 1st of November, I was just looking. They were now asking me, how far, Temi? How far? How far? On the 2nd of November, I sent a message to say, please, nobody should even ask me for any. Like I went, oh gosh, like nobody. And for the first time in my almost 18 years career as an entrepreneur, I felt like giving up on entrepreneurship. Like, let me go and look for a job. And it was all because I was trying to produce from a place of stress. So if you are looking for examples to share, when you give this point, please feel free to use me. That I
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
typical classical
Yeah.
case of
Yeah.
someone trying to produce under stress. And since that September, things turned around. So, in October, things got lighter. In November, things got a lot lighter. December, we're like, okay, finally, we are back in business. And this January, it's been so, so good, for us. So
So
please
it's
go
interesting.
ahead.
I can explain, and it's interesting that you'd share your story. I can explain all of these things scientifically, so people understand. All this I'm studying neuroscience, quantum physics, just to be able to break these things down so people can get it. See, when you are producing from the place of stress, now here's what happens, right? Every time we think, I put out a post some days back. I said that we think that our thoughts are in our heads. Our heads are in our thoughts, right? Right. When we think our thoughts are contained in our heads. No, your thoughts are not in your head. Your thoughts are transmitted from your head, right? You are not a container of your thoughts. You are a channel. You are transmitting stuff, signals. So exactly. So when we think that our thoughts are just happening here. No, they are being projected from here. So our thoughts, if you even check in neuroscience, right, you actually have electrons, right, in your brain, right, and they are charged. They are positive, negative charges and stuff like that. So your thoughts have an electrical component to it, right? Oh
Whoa.
yeah. If you put EEG machines and stuff like that around your head, you will notice that there are charges,
Electric Temi. My home would be like,
right? Exactly. So your thoughts have an electrical component. So your thoughts are a signal that you are sending out. But remember what I said, it's not just intention, it's intention plus emotion. Your heart, your emotions have a magnetic component to it. So your thoughts plus your emotions create an electromagnetic field around you. Now, as I'm saying this, some people are like, Bankole really see. There was a time when if I told you that there were organisms that existed that you could not see with the naked eye, you would say that I was mad. But now science has proven that with a microscope, you can see bacteria, virus. In fact, we are all in a lockdown now because of a virus that we all do not
Cannot
see. Thank you very much. And I'm telling you, even the scriptures say that it is the things that are unseen that are permanent. So what is most important is what lies in the realm of the unseen. And I'm telling you, in the realm of the unseen are electromagnetic fields that human beings emit as a result of the fusion of thought and emotion. When those things combine, they create an electromagnetic field. If I brought a microscope around you, based on the kind of emotion that you're exhibiting, we will be able to read a force field that you are exhibiting. So every human being is like a mobile radio station, right? A radio station is sending signals into the environment. You are in a different location, but you are connecting to those signals. And I'm telling you, when your thoughts and emotions combine, you create a force field that sends signals such that people hear you and they sense that there is something wrong, even though you are saying everything right. And that sense that they feel
is
influences
what they
their
respond
decision.
to.
Exactly. Whether we recognize it on a conscious level or not. So one of the biggest tasks for humanity is being responsible for your energy, because the energy that you carry is a signal that you are putting out into the environment. And remember what I said, the thoughts have the electrical component you send out. It is your emotions that determine what you attract, the magnetic component that determines what comes to you. So with thought, you are saying, I want this amount of money. With your heart, you are attracting, a specific amount of money because, like I said, it's an electromagnetic field that you have. So my point in all of this is that it is important that we understand that when you are producing from the place of stress, right, you are sending a contrary signal to your desires. So what you will be magnetizing is a function of that emotion that you are embracing. So if you are living in an emotion of fear, right, an emotion of fear can never attract abundance. It cannot. So you are out of alignment, with your desires, right? It would always send the wrong signals to people that make them feel like they should even draw away from you. Fear is the energy that contracts. Love is the energy that expands. The minute you are sending out the signal of fear to the environment, you are telling people to contract from you. You are telling people to pull away from you. You don't realize it, but that is the message you are putting out. But when you are producing from the place of abundance and from the place of rest and peace, right, that is the energy that expands. You are giving people the reason to reach towards you and embrace you and be a part of your tribe and what it is that you're putting out, right? So that level of consciousness is so critical, because these are the governing rules and principles that determine the results that we produce in this life. Yeah, I'm not sure I've answered your question, but
Yes. No, you referred what I was saying, but I asked you for one or two strategies, and the first
okay, yeah.
was that when you produce from a place of rest and not from a place of stress.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you share one more thing before I now ask you my final question, and then I'll do questions from those live with us as well.
Okay. Then the other thing that I would say is, and it ties to something I've said before. What is real is what is unseen.
Right.
And that's not the programming that we are.
Please believe me now.
Not
The programming we are used to, Uncle.
blessed are those that do not see.
Yet believe.
Right. Because the things which are seen are temporal, Temi. I am telling you, anything that you can touch that is tangible is an illusion compared to what is unseen. I'm giving you basketball, sorry. And tell me, this is the truth as it is. I'm telling you, what we prioritize the scene. We spend too much time and energy in the scene. And I'm telling you, it is an illusion compared to the unseen. So what am I trying to say? Right? The amount of time you spend going in is more important than the amount of time we spend living out, which is what I see happening a lot. So begin to prioritize the things that lie in the realm of the unseen. And two things that are critical: thought and emotions. So what am I trying to say? Every result that you produce here in the physical, you first of all produce it here. It's just that we're not aware, but that's what happens. You want to walk to your door, you see the image of the door, and then your body moves in that direction. You wake up in the morning, you want to have your bath, you see, so we're not aware. We see the image of us entering the bathroom, and then our bodies move in that direction. So our bodies ideally should move in the direction of our minds. So you can create experiences with thoughts, and then your body will navigate in the direction of your thoughts. The problem is that we've not been wired that way. So we need to spend time creating. Creativity starts from the realm of thought. We need to spend time creating here so that we can experience here. Now, I always like to use this analogy of how the mind does not know the difference between what is imagined and what is real. The mind doesn't know the difference. It's the way this our body is conditioned. If you watch a movie that has a sad ending, you shed real tears. The actor,
you know it's a movie.
it's a movie, but you shed real tears. So can you see how your body is manifesting as though it is real? The mind does not know the difference. So in reality, we are supposed to produce from the realm of the unseen before we experience it in the realm of the seen. So visualization is not a nice to do, it's a must have. It's a must do. It is the modus operandi. So what I find is most people wake up first thing in the morning, and guess what? If you ask them, do you think your thoughts are responsible for your results? They will say yes. The next question I ask is, when you woke up this morning, how many of you created what your day would look like in your thought life before you got out to begin to live that day? The truth is, most people do not. Most people wake up and they switch into the realm of the seen, and they begin to operate from that realm. And then they wonder why they are not producing their desires. They did not create their desires in their minds. And it's not just about creating the desires, it's creating it in a way that triggers a strong emotional component. Because you can create an experience by physically having the experience, but you can create the experience with thoughts. And when you create the experience with thoughts, you want to ramp it up to the point that it creates such an intense emotion, almost as though you are having that experience real time. Now, why is this critical? Temi, this is critical because remember what I said, there is no difference between your unconscious mind and your body. They are not in separation. So your body, a lot of people, their bodies are leading them to the past. You want your body to lead you into the future, then you need to begin to program your body with the emotions of the future. And that's because the language of the body is not thoughts. The language of the body is emotions. So when you speak the language of the body, every time you feel an emotion, your body, it's an experience. Your body feels it. Something changes in your chemical composition in your body. So if you start your day with imagination, with thinking of what you want your day to look like, but remembering that, you know, if you have an experience, the payoff of an experience is an emotion. You cannot have an experience in isolation. There must be an emotion attached to the experience. So what affirms that you have had an experience is that it ends in an emotion. So if you are creating the experience by thought and you don't create the experience to come with an emotional component, then it is not an experience. So until our thoughts become real-time experiences that land us in an emotional state that begins to tutor our bodies on what our futures look like, we are not there yet. So the point is, if we started our days that way, right, tricking our bodies to begin to experience our desires, calling those things that be not as though they were, not as though they are, but as though they were, meaning that you have experienced it and you are enjoying the benefit of the experience. Once you do that, your body will begin to align with your desires and begin to recondition your unconscious mind to produce the outcomes that you want to see.
Whoa. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Wow. I wish we could just, hold this minute. Just hold.
Just freeze it in
hold
time.
that. Yes. Like, oh gosh. Wow. Wow. Like, every time I listen to you share on this, like, I mean, I've heard you share on this like 3, 4, 5 times, personally on your webinar, on Jimmy's webinar. I watched some replays. I mean, every time you say it, you unpeel something. There was something you just said again now. And I'm like, guy, I've heard this thing before now. Oh, I thought I knew it. When you said as though they, not as though they are, but as though they were, like it's in the past tense. Because right now, I try to operate in the as though they are, like, okay, like they are happening. But I think the where is even it's a higher dimension, like it's past, it's gone. Now I'm enjoying what was.
The benefits.
Gosh.
Yeah.
The benefits.
Yeah. So let me give you an example so you understand what I'm saying.
I should be imagining, wait. I should be imagining that I've made the $1 million already.
Yeah.
So I should be living now in the, oh my gosh.
So let me make it really practical. So it's not you want $1 million as though they were, is that you have received it and that you are already enjoying the benefit of it. So in your visualization, you are not imagining you with the money, you are imagining you post the money. Post the money being enjoying the benefit of the impact that the money has. So for instance, if you had that amount of money, maybe you'll give money to widows and imagine, can you just imagine how grateful they would be and how joyful they would be because you have been a blessing to their lives and you are enjoying that emotional component attached to the impact of the money that you have blessed those people. Do you understand? You have gone past. Do you get what I'm saying?
Wanting to make it.
Yes.
I have made it. I'm enjoying the benefits of making it. Whoa.
Yeah.
My last question is this. Banky, I know for sure that this whole thing is new to a lot of us. It is strange to a lot of us. Even for someone like me who has, submitted myself to learning from Tony Robbins, going to work on fire and all of that. I know that I've been trained for the past
Yeah.
Let me just say, since my adult life of like 20, 25 years, to think a certain way, to do things a certain way. So having to unlearn those things, it's like trying to move me from being right-handed to being left-handed. It's not easy, but I trust you and I'm willing to actually go with you. Like I said, I'll give myself this 1 year. Like if I've been doing things all this while and it's not giving me what I want, how about I try this different way that promises to give me better chances and is proven and makes sense actually. Okay, so given that, how can you help us? How can you help, anyone here who is saying they want to learn more about this? They need your guidance, right? I know you have a program which I have enrolled for, right? I just want you to share a bit about it and what we can get and where we can get it from. Just
Yeah.
wrap up the conversation that way.
Yeah.
Because
So
really, I really wish I would just stay silent and just,
yeah, and just soak it all in, right?
soak it
Yeah.
all in right now.
Yeah, I get you. I get you, which is one of the reasons why I'm on this pathway. I want to help people achieve astounding results. That's my mission, right? I want to, and not just help them. I want them to have the replicable strategies that they can deploy. I think that one of the best things that can ever happen to somebody is to know how, right? It's not enough to know. It's important to know how, being that at any point in time, I can reproduce that outcome. And I think that that is such a powerful place to be, right? We say knowledge is power. I believe that self-knowledge is self-empowerment, right? So knowing about yourself empowers you. Most people don't know about themselves well enough. And that's what I want to unveil. I want to show you to you so that you can then be the master of yourself. And this is why I created a program called The Science of Astounding Results, where basically I teach people three critical areas that I think are very important for this phase of the world that we find ourselves in. I teach people how to mind their money, mind their wealth. I teach people how to mind their health, right? And I teach people how to mind their well-being, right? The currency of the future is energy. I teach people how to be able to sustain the right energy. Remember what I said, your energy is the vibe that you're giving off that will determine what you attract in your direction. It also even determines the opportunities you see, right? There can be money around you, but you're blinded to it because of the kind of energy that you have, right? So I want to be able to teach people how to be able to embrace the right energy that can determine what it is that they're attracting in their direction. And for me, it has to be an immersion program. It has to be. What I find is people have this touch and go thing. Oh, we listen to a webinar for 1 hour and boom, we're off, right? How many people actually translate what they have heard into results? That is the real deal. It is not what you know that makes a difference. It is what you do with what you know. So I want to be able to get to move people from just information and inspiration to action. So that's why for me it has to be an immersion. It's an immersion program for 6 days where I will be teaching people, but not only teaching people, giving them practical steps that they need to take and holding them accountable for that period for their action steps so that we all start out on the starting line and we're all progressing to the finish line, line upon line, day upon day. And then one of the most amazing things will be the kind of feedback that people are going to be giving, because the more information, the more transformation. So the more you hear some other person is already producing astounding results, the more you have the belief that it's a possibility for you. It increases the collective energy
Yeah, right.
have, right? And that leads to transformation. So that community is also important in determining people's progress and all of that. So that's what I'm going to do in 6 days from the 24th to the 29th, carrying people along to ensure that they actually have tangible results that literally are to the degree of biblical proportions, the kinds that will cause the ears of men to tingle. Those are the kinds of results that I strongly believe for, and I know that people are going to achieve, right? So the course, like I said, starts from 24th. It's online, right? It happens on Zoom at 7 p.m. every day, right? From the 24th to the 29th. The cost goes for 100,000 naira, right? That's the fee, right? There's a current discount, so people can pay 80,000 naira today and get access to the course. It's very likely that in the next 24 to 48 hours, we'll be shutting it down because we're having quite a number of people who have already, paid and they're already part of the program, just to ensure that we can get people ready for it. Yeah, yeah. So that's really what the course is about.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. So, guys, I see you here. I see you, Anna. I see you, Tolokwe Wisdom. I see you, Joel Kayode. Thank you, Rashidat, Anna. I see you, Blessing Jumbo. You've been like our scribe, and all of that. So, if you have questions, I really want you to take. I want Banky to take a question, right? And I also want to encourage every single body here. Don't be like the man who just looks at his face in the mirror and goes away and forgets what he looks like. And to encourage you to join this 6 days immersion, I would be giving you a bonus bundle. That is my wealth creation bonus bundle as a bonus. So once you sign up for Banky's class, and now I need you to please share the link with me so that I can share it also as a comment on the, on the group, so that, we can have people join us on the program. You will see me right on the front seat. I paid. I did a transfer for this course, a payment. Put full payments that, okay, take. I want to go on this journey. I want to learn. I need to know, okay? I need to know what exactly I should be doing, right? So the link to the page, I will drop it now. And the moment you sign up, please talk to me, send me a DM on Facebook and tell me that you have signed up. Okay, send me your proof of payments. You have signed up so that I can give you the wealth creation bundle, which is a bundle of 3 of my courses on wealth creation, the science of money, I think, and something about how to slay your next. Yeah, it's a bundle of income and all of that. So so there is a 80,000 naira between today and the next 24 hours. And if you need a payment plan, send me a message as well, okay? I will send you the link to the payment plan. I've just put the link to make a payment right now. Please don't look at yourself in the mirror and do what? And then leave. You need to stay in. Okay, sorry, the link I put in was wrong. Let me delete that. I forgot to put the pay in between. So it's flutterwave.com. So we will chill a second for your feedback. And I'll also put a link in the, in the Facebook community for everyone to share their learnings. Like, oh my goodness, it was so good, right? People need to come here and learn and watch and learn, right? Good. So Sunday Oko says that this is amazing. So I want you guys to give me your feedback on this session. Talk to me about it. Let me know exactly how you feel about this class. And if you have questions, please type in the comments. Let's quickly engage with Banky before he leaves. So Bankole doesn't just come live on anyone's what now, but he's been owing me for like 6 months. I've been saying, come, please come. We need you, in our lives. And they're like, okay, tell me, I'll try and make it. And today, finally, even though it's feeling so strong, right? he still, choose to come here tonight and help. So please, I want everyone to go to this link and then sign up and then send me a message. If you don't have questions, just say thank you to Bankole and then we'll call it a night. I'll just chill for 1 more minute, okay, for you to give your feedback, the things you've learned. There was a question I saw here, which I believe we have answered when Banky mentioned about the illusion of what is seen, what is unseen. I saw Anna make a comment there, but I'm sure we've he's been able to attend to it. Someone was saying that, thanks, Coach Temi. That's practical example, right? There's someone says that that must have been too much to bear. Yes, it was too much to bear. Like I literally was thinking of shutting down my business, and I still managed to pay salaries, of course, but it was the lowest we've ever made in the last 4 years, because I pride myself that every single month, since 2016, September or August, that we've been doing 7 figures every single month. But that particular month, or more, it was not fun at all. It was the least we've done. And yes, I have to be transparent. I owe it to you as my mentees to be transparent to you and show that, see, this stuff, it works, it does not work, because we are all coaches here, right? So that's it. Someone else says, let me see the comments I've skipped, I've missed in the past. Yeah, so somebody is saying that personal reinvention, please, is this a book? What book is that? Did you mention anything about book? Okay, money vibe, money drive. I'm not sure you mention anything about book. Maybe we missed the conversation. Okay, I think Margaret asked that, how do you get the conscious mind to align with the unconscious mind to produce results? And I think, yes, I've asked you this question.
Yeah, I have.
That was where you began to share about producing from a place of rest, and then supposed to produce from a place of creativity, and how we can employ the tool of meditation and visualization to see into our future. Yes, so I'm sure that at the workshop, at the course, the 6 days course, you would learn a lot more from there. Okay, thank you so much. People are saying thank you to you. They're thanking you for being here. Let me know if I missed any other question. If no, please say thank you to my coach, Bankole Williams. And if you need a bank account to do a transfer, send me a chat as well on Facebook, Temi Ajibewa, my personal profile, okay? Send me a chat there and we would onboard you. I cannot thank you enough for coming live with me here today, Bankole. Thank you so much for giving so much, like you poured, you shared, and we cannot but be grateful for your presence. And I'm sure every single person here, our minds have been shifted, and we'll be more deliberate in our thinking and in how we relate to things. So if you have any last words, just share with us. I will call it a night. Thank you so much.
Well, I think the last word would just be, it's not what you know that makes a difference. It is what you do with what you know. Don't be one of those people who just hear and not take action. It's about the action that you take. Having heard all of this, my question is, what line of action are you going to improve your life? And like I said, don't produce from the place of stress. Some people, when they possibly heard, me talk about the course and how much it goes for, they just enter stress mode. Like, how am I going to get the money? It's a lot of money. It just stress mode. Now, this is precisely what I'm talking about, Temi, where you have a desire. They desire it. As they were listening to me, in their hearts, they knew that this Bankole is speaking to me. And there's something that I know that he has that can help me. They want it, but guess what? They've entered stress mode. And when you enter stress mode, your body is now conditioned to take you to your past And then unconsciously, they don't realize that they are not even in alignment with their desires. You desire to improve, your life, the status of your mind, your health, wealth, wellness. You want it, but you allowed, for some people, they allowed the stress faculties to be activated, and now their bodies would want to act in a way that's not in alignment with their desires. And I'm saying to you, even if you don't have the resources right now, be open-minded and don't just shut it down. Say to yourself, how can I make it happen? How can this be a possibility for me? And I think that level of open-mindedness attracts, opportunities and insights in your direction. So I will love to have as many people as possible from this community to be a part of it. And I trust that it would be such an incredible experience for every single person.
I have no doubts. I feel that by the next edition, you bring me live and I'll come and share my testimony with people. And by then, we have doubled the fees.
Yes,
so if you can get in now, I also promised you my wealth creation bundle, right? There was a webinar I ran with Banki about 2 years ago, and also another one on how to slay the next 12 months. And also another one on, on money making and all of that. That bond is available to you. And ordinarily it goes for 50,000 naira, but on discounts it goes for 25,000 naira. But for you tonight, you pay for free once you sign up for the SWA immersive program. Okay. Thank you so much for being here, sir. God bless you. I love you so much. We are grateful. Rashida says, thank you, Coach Bankole. Blessy says, thank you, Coach Bankole. Sunday says, thank you so much, sir. I love when you stress on how to reprogram our mind with past tense. Rashida says, thank you so much. Joel says, thanks, I am Bankole. Amu says, thank you, Coach Bankole. Blessing says that thank you for the eye-opening session. So we are all grateful, and I'm sure that we will see you.
Yes,
we will see you, in the SWA program, in the SWA program. Yeah. Thank you so much.